I had a life-changing experience recently that I thought might be good to let all my subscribers know about, seeing as they might be interested in the subject, since I have dooming videos on my YouTube channel that I played on Z-Damon for years, and I got pretty good. I got very good. Of course, one of the best in the world, and here is the site. So one of the funny things was that I had played this dooming site for a long time, and I thought, oh, there's my rabbit. I don't know if you can see her. I thought, oh, maybe they have apparel. Maybe I could make apparel to have a spoof on the logo of the Z-Damon site. And there are tens of people, dozens of people who sign on every week. Maybe 50 people signing on regularly. 40 people or 50 people a day at most. And obviously, it's not really such a healthy thing. Doom is not so healthy because it's just about shooting zombies and monsters. And the players aren't so healthy. So when I was thinking about this stupid apparel idea, almost before I finished the thought, I could see the apparel. And they had apparel for their bogus dooming site. It's a real gaming site where lots of people go to play, but it's not totally suspicious, and it's not unsuspicious, and it has to be fair enough, and it's not fair in some ways. But then they have a crazy spin-off in which they have t-shirts for sale at some website or something. And it would be the thing where a guy would get a Z-Damon t-shirt, and then he would stand in the middle of the road after smoking crystal meth and wave his hands in the center of town and attract attention and to get arrested by the police or something. So I used to play a game called CTF, which is Capture the Flag. And there's a scientific element to it. Because in all eternity, there's never anything like Capture the Flag Doom on a worldwide scale where people are birthed and then they meet when they're older and play Capture the Flag Doom online on a new internet, a brave new world, and using an old game compared to the technology. And so with all sorts of different dynamics combined, it is a scientific thing. So these original Capture the Flag maps create a void that can't be filled. So you're playing in hell, and you're having a decent amount of fun, or you're getting occupied in a decent way for each person. They can be succored by the gaming. And it's based in hell, and then later, even 100 years from now, no one's going to be playing Doom CTF, and the maps will be vacant forever. And they are forever etched in electricity, and so it's this very sad, lonely, solitary thing that is quiet forever, that was once full of energetic, enthusiastic players who were like the devil's friends, who were entertaining the devil by playing Capture the Flag in Hell. And so in hell, you could think maybe the devil is always trying to regain the light. And so these maps are like the basis of light, where there are two teams, they're trying to exchange a flag or steal someone's flag. And so whatever. Any game, any computer game can be a basis of hell, and it can be sadness for the devil or whatever. But this one is notable because it's based in hell already. Just as a side note, so I was playing for years, and I thought it was interesting about that apparel note, that they have this kooky apparel for the lowest of the low. It's like the lowest site possible. It is, it's like, I can't really describe it. It lost some of its luster because the CTF lost its popularity and no one plays it, and then there aren't as many death matches. People have moved on. I'm not saying that's a good thing, because in this original Doom, it's based on the classic Doom game, Doom 2, really. And the zombies and monsters and the guns and the violence, it's not as bad as the more recent versions, the next versions. They have uglier monsters, they have darker settings, and the classic Doom is a little more like a cartoon, and so it's really not as mentally decapitating as whatever new graphics and artistry they have. And there's a give and take, so there's good and bad to everything. I don't know if they play CTF on the new Doom. I guess I might try it to find if the CTF was as fun, but it really takes so long. I had a time in my life when I could sit down and play and try to get good at the game. It was an outlet for me because I was doing other things that had huge, exhausting brain power, and then that little multiplayer game was a great outlet while I was studying foreign language books with Google Translator and stuff, and then going and doing outdoor work too. So it was a great release, a great thing, way to pass the time, to unwind so I wouldn't feel so tense about whatever else I was doing. So there's a time and place, and I don't foresee having the time. If I felt like it was if I felt the urge to go try to play a computer game or something to pass the time, I would. But at this point, there, there are always other things to do. Like, I live in a home and I have to do home maintenance. I have to clean. So it's not like I wasn't cleaning before, but that's just something that has to be done. And, you know, I don't, there was an urge to play, and that's how I got so good, and I could do the rocket jumping, and I could beat whatever level and play CTF and win death matches, but it takes so long, it's really not worth it. If you want to go and sit down and play one of those WADs with a selection of maps up to 30 or more or hundreds, that takes too long, and you really have to have time dedicated to it, and then the amount of time it takes to get good enough to really play one of those, and you shouldn't even have enough time to really go and play the huge WADs and the huge game packs, because it just takes too much time, and then that's all you're doing. Of course, there are people doing that if they make those game packs in the first place, but it just takes so much time, it's not worth it. You have to really do things. And so I was using that as an outlet while I was, practicing foreign languages and going outside and getting good at chopping down trees or whatever. So I had a lot of free time on my hands to figure out something to do on my own. And that's not always even very productive. It's not always good to be a loner, going out, working in the woods as a loner, being dirty all the time. It's impossible. It's just, it's like brain damaging. And then reading ancient literature for years and years is also brain damaging. So there's a time and place for everything. So the video game was a great release, and I got very good. And there were really funny twists and turns. Oh yeah, and now to finish the story, there's a twist, is that I would still be signing on to the site, but I got banned for no reason that I really have confirmed, but I was using the nickname Rules of Tennis, and I thought it was an interesting nickname. And before that, I was using the German version of that phrase, Tennisregeln, and then I saw, when I was driving down the road in a local city in Keene, that they had put up a sign that said they had a sister city in Germany. And I have the sense that my little dooming nickname had a hand in that, and so I changed it to the English version. And then they banned me from the site because they don't like the nickname because it has the word tennis in it, and they have problems with school shooters, like the Columbine school shooter. One of them had a tennis court, and so this dooming site can't have anything to do with tennis. And I only picked the name because people told me that I didn't know the rules of tennis. I'm a tennis player, and opponents often told me that I didn't know the rules. And I know the rules, of course. Why would I be playing? And it's character assassination, and so is that dooming site. So I thought it was an interesting nickname because eventually I would remember that the guy told me, or the guys told me, that I didn't know the rules of tennis when I was playing them in their match. And So it's like some kind of scathing scar or whatever. And so I can use that nickname over and over and over again because they have a coup in which they are programmed to tell me that I don't know the rules of tennis in their character assassination. So I can use that nickname just about anywhere, which is funny. But I can't use it on Z Damon because I'm banned, because I used that nickname, and for the past few years when I had been playing, I played for just one life in the multiplayer games, and they had no more CTF and very few death matches. And so I was playing for 30 seconds or 10 minutes or whatever, and then I would quit after one life because I would get enough. After just one or two lives, I would not want to sit around and wait, and I would just rush ahead. And they didn't like the way I was playing in their servers. I don't know. I haven't been confirmed. And then one of the horrible things in their games is that they use kind of brain-dead tactics. So you see I saw these players play mega maps, the same ones over and over and over again, and it was a focal point of the Z Damon port. And so I would join the mega maps, which were interesting maps and larger maps with different monsters or whatever. And they would, you could call it cowardly, and they would strategically play in a dolting way, like a dolt. I can't exactly describe it, and it's not worth it, but I would be able to rush ahead and wake up tons of monsters and make a mayhem while they had played the same maps the same way thousands of times for several years. And you would think that it might be spam, and part of it might have been spam. But it would be more like spontaneous generation instead. So you can't really make that spam for the dooming port. Theoretically, you could. But the sad part was they were playing the same maps over and over and over again and doing the same tactics, and it was, kind of stupid. So they didn't like the way I was using the Z Damon port, that I was rushing in and playing for, just 5 minutes or 30 seconds or something, and that would be enough for me. I had seen enough of these monsters, and they don't have a variety of attacks, so I kept it fresh. I kept my feeling for the Doom fresh, and I played very little for a few years, and then they banned me. So it's even ironic how little I played to get banned. Well, whatever. They were trolling me. The administrator was trolling me. He kept on backstabbing me since I got there. Whatever. But I played so little before the crazy administrator banned me because he didn't like my behavior. I didn't have much behavior. Wasn't there much. And he didn't like my nickname. It was like the one nickname that I used for a period of time. For many years, I had been changing nicknames frequently, every day or something, or whatever. I don't know how often. I wasn't there all the time. I got good playing CTF, and then the deathmatch, and then some of the dooming game, where you play the monsters. But I never really followed through because taking the time to go play the full maps with the monsters is just too much. I was doing other things when I started playing, like studying the books on Kindle and other things, working outside. So there's no way I could ever dedicate so much time to playing those maps, or I can't foresee any time going back to play those maps. It just takes too long. I guess the CTF was a little easier to stomach, and I got pretty good. And then the death matches, whatever. They were tiresome. Lots of times you just play the same maps over and over again, and it's just pretty tough. But obviously, it's entertaining if you can do it so much. Praise God. Jah Rastafari.